Yes, YouTube, welcome back to another video. In today, going to be covering a big one. So this one is for those of you who cannot shift that stubborn belly fat, whether that's the fat at the bottom of your belly, your love handles, or your lower back. I'm going to break down exactly why you can't shift it and how to fix that problem so that you can finally shift it once and for all, so that you can actually keep it off. So you've been hitting the gym, you've been eating quite clean, you've been training regularly, you've been doing your cardio, but you just can't seem to shift that last bit of body fat. It just won't come off. And trust me, I've been there. When I first started training, I was skinny fat, I didn't have a lot of muscle, I was quite skinny, I was quite lanky, but I just had this tire that sat around my waist. And for the first 2 years of my training, I was doing everything that I could try to try and shift that tire once and for all, because I was getting sick of seeing it all the time. I'd be flat, I'd have a flat stomach, I'd have a flat chest, sadly, I'd have sort of skinny, noodly arms, and then there'd just be this little bump that would poke out at the bottom of my belly. And it used to frustrate me, used to really irritate me. But now that I'm on the other side and I've actually figured out what it takes to get it off and keep it off, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. It's not your genetics. It is not your broken metabolism. It's also not bad luck. It's your habits. So today I'm going to break down the 5 most popular reasons why you're not losing that stubborn body fat and exactly how you can fix them. So then, point number 1, we're going to be touching on discipline. This one might sting for some of you a little bit. You are not disciplined enough. You don't actually want it. Your actions do not align with what you're saying. And this is something that I come across so often as a coach who messages and talks to a lot of people who say they want to get in shape. You say you want to lose the stubborn fat, but you're drinking every single weekend. You have a cheat meal at the weekend, and that doesn't just stop there. It turns into a weekend binge where you've gone off track for a full 2 days and you've not moved, you've not done any steps, you've not done any cardio, you've not been to the gym to train. You're not willing to sacrifice anything. No sacrifice, no reward. It's literally that simple. To put it bluntly, if you're not willing to sacrifice any of these bad habits that you're partaking in that are hindering your progress and slowing you down, you are not going to shift that lower belly fat. So just to sum up the first point, don't chat BS. If you say you want to lose the belly fat and you are drinking every weekend and you are binging at the weekend and you're not willing to sacrifice anything, then you're not telling the truth. You don't want it, because if you wanted it, you would cut down the drinking, you would not binge at the weekend, maybe you'd go out for one meal and you'd be a little bit cautious with what you're consuming, and you would be willing to sacrifice a little bit of what you're doing to help you push and see that progress that you're not able to see. So if you do want it, you do genuinely want your body to change, you want to get rid of that stubborn belly fat, you need to have structure, you need to plan in advance. If you want to go out for some drinks or you want to go out for a meal, you do have to be sensible. You will have to sacrifice a little bit. You can't be going out for 4 off-plan meals at the weekend and have 10 pints. You're not going to see progress that way. But you need to plan in advance. So bank your calories, know what you're going to order, plan that in your calories, be sensible with the foods that you're consuming. Avoid anything that's fried, stick to healthy whole foods, lean cuts of meat, good sources of carbs, potatoes are usually a good one, rice, chicken, beef, things of that nature. Skip a dessert. If you're going to go out and get a drink, get a Diet Coke or some sort of diet drink. The bottom line is you just need to be sensible. And wanting it doesn't mean that you can't have a social life and you can't go out for drinks. But you need to plan, you need to have structure, and you need to be sensible. And then habits. If you do genuinely want to change, you may have to alter some habits within your lifestyle. So if it's common for you to go out and drink every weekend, you're going to have to cut back. So if you do have any unhealthy habits that you know are 100% slowing you down, I'm not saying that you have to cut them out, although it would be most beneficial, you definitely need to cut them back and be a little bit sensible. Once you have actually lost the body fat, it's much easier to maintain. The work to actually shift the body fat is much harder than it is to maintain that too. That's something to bear in mind. Like, these aren't changes that you're going to have to stick to in the real long term, but for a little bit of short-term sacrifice to help you shift that belly fat, it's going to serve you with a lot of long-term gain, because you won't have that body fat that you're carrying. Number 2, we've got sleep and hydration. These two are massively slept on, pardon the pun. Jokes aside, these two are absolute killers when they are out of whack. You can genuinely have the perfect training plan, you can be training quite hard and you can be following the perfect diet, but if your sleep is poor and you're dehydrated, your results are going to suffer, especially with fat loss. And not only will your results suffer, it's going to make the process a whole lot more miserable than it needs to be for you. Let me explain. So first of all, we will cover sleep. Poor sleep is going to have a detrimental effect to these 3 things. So cortisol is going to go up, stress is going to go up, so you're going to hold on to a lot more water than you typically should be. Your testosterone is going to be down, so your drive is going to be a little bit down, your energy is going to be a little bit down. You're not going to have that aggression when you go into the gym and you're attacking your sets. And your recovery is going to be down. Your energy is going to be down. So you're going to be performing suboptimally. And sleep has a massive effect on energy levels during the day, your mood, your recovery, and the results that you're going to see. Just to throw more fuel in the fire, inadequate sleep is going to mess with your hunger hormones. So we have ghrelin, we also have leptin. Ghrelin is the hormone in your body that tells you that you're hungry. So after a poor night's sleep, ghrelin is going to spike and shoot up. So the day after, you're going to feel much hungrier than you should be. This is a problem during a fat loss phase if you feel hungrier than you should be, because you're going to want to eat more food. It doesn't stop there. Leptin also goes down. So when you do actually eat food, you don't feel as full. So not only are you hungrier, but when you do actually consume food, it's not filling you up as much as it normally would. So that is a double whammy on top of all of these things. I'm hoping you can see from this list that I've put on the whiteboard how important and how much of an effect poor sleep can have on your results. Now, if you do have poor sleep and you're looking at that and you're thinking, God, I'm not hydrated as well, I'm dehydrated too, this is another absolute killer. So with poor hydration, you're going to have poor digestion as your stomach acid is affected, meaning that digestion is slowed. On top of that, because you are dehydrated, you've not got many fluids and electrolytes in your body to help shuttle nutrients around effectively, your body is not going to absorb nutrients as effectively as it should be, which in turn means that you are going to have low energy, you're going to have a low mood. Not only that, but partnered with a calorie deficit, that's another double whammy. You're in a deficit, you're bound to be a little bit tired if you've been in a deficit for an extended period. But if you are dehydrated as well, that's just adding salt to the wound. So if you're watching this video and you know that your sleep needs improvement and you know that you're not drinking enough water and you're not taking enough electrolytes on board, sort it out. It's going to slow you down so much. Remember, you cannot perform well when you're running on empty and when your body is not operating as efficiently as it should be. So then, just some tips to help you get your sleep and hydration on point. So with your sleep, have good sleep hygiene. Make sure you are sleeping for 7 to 8 hours per night. That's not spending 7 to 8 hours in bed, that's actually being asleep, hitting the hay, lights out, hitting the sack for 7 to 8 hours per night. Stay on top of your electrolytes. So we've got sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, chloride, and we've got phosphate. I'm not going to delve into the sources too much, but for you to consume all of those electrolytes, you should be consuming a balanced diet. So you want to be consuming dairy, meats, fish, eggs, nuts, leafy greens, dark chocolate, fruits, potatoes, broccoli, and also some salt. And if you don't already, I would advise getting some electrolyte powder just for a little top up in case you need it. From this, fat loss isn't always about doing more. Sometimes it's about actually doing a little bit less and staying on top of your recovery. Now then, point number 3 is that you quit when results stop. And trust me, they will stop, they will slow down. It's all part of the process. Everyone's motivated in the first 4 to 6 weeks when you've got a new plan, you're deciding that you're going to go all in, your clothes are fitting you a little bit better, your t-shirts are a little bit baggier, the scales are flying down, and you've got something that you're excited to actually sink your teeth into. But then the results slow down and the fat loss gets a little bit harder because you need to make adjustments, you need to do a little bit more, you need to sacrifice a little bit more. And this is where 99% of people quit. Don't be 99% of people. The truth is, when the results stop, if you can continue to be persistent and push through, that's where the real transformation happens. That's where you develop as a lifter. You develop your knowledge and you figure out what needs to change for you to actually move forward. This is where you gain your experience. Huge point, extremely important. Fat loss is not linear. You will see scale weight fluctuations every single day. During my 8-year journey, I've not had more than 4 or 5 days in a row where my weight has been the exact same every single day. Your scale weight fluctuates due to loads of different things: stress, sleep, water retention, macro differences in the foods that you consume, and calories. Fat loss is not linear. You're not going to see the scale weight drop consistently for a long period of time. You will have plateaus. You'll have weeks where the scale doesn't really move as much as you would have liked it to. But if you stay consistent through that phase, you will break through. And that's when you start uncovering the physique and stripping off the body fat that you've been trying to do. Now then, point number 4, you treat it as a quick fix rather than a lifestyle change. You cannot treat fitness as a temporary project and expect permanent results. You don't sort of finish getting in shape. You develop and you evolve as a person, and you become the person who stays in shape. A phrase that I've sort of coined and I like to use quite frequently, I say that the day you start the gym is the day that you're never satisfied. Yes, you can look in the mirror and be proud. I'm quite proud of the physique that I've built, but there is always room for improvement. There is always a muscle that can be bigger, or your waist can be a little bit tighter, or your abs can be a little bit more prominent. There's always more that can be done. And what that means is that your habits, your mindset, and your routine must evolve and develop over time. If every time life gets busy you throw the towel in and you get frustrated, you will never see the progress that you want to see. You will always be stuck in that loop of doing a little bit and then quitting and doing a little bit and quitting. That's not going to allow you to see any good sort of results. People who actually get results build systems to suit their lifestyle. They do not suit their lifestyle to follow the plan. They make a plan that fits their preferences, what they enjoy doing, so that they can actually sustain it in the long term. They build a system that allows them to implement habits in the long term. They build a system that they enjoy, which allows them to develop their mindset, and they build a system that fits in with their routine and their schedule, so they can actually stick to the plan that they've got. People who win, the ones that actually shift the fat and manage to stay lean, training fits their schedule and routine. They've got the habit of meal prepping, so meals are always prepped. It's not about perfection. It's not about being perfect. It's about developing the mindset to allow you to stay consistent. Consistency in the long term with 70 to 80% accuracy will grant you unbelievable results. Point number 5, last but far from least, one that's probably most important or one that causes the most issues. So with your diet, if you want to shift that last bit of stubborn belly fat, you can't be eating too much junk. Yes, you can have a little bit, but it needs to be accounted for within your plan and within your calorie targets. Crash calories, meaning that you drop your calories to the floor. Yes, that's going to help you drop weight fast, but it's also going to crash your metabolism. So you get to a point where your calories have been too low for too long and your body actually adapts and it starts holding on to the fat because its metabolism is in the bin. It doesn't really know what's going on. So it stores the fat even though your calories are on the floor. This creates a lot of confusion. A lot of people think, oh, calorie deficit, I'm consuming 1200 calories, why am I not losing any weight? You've taken it too far. You've taken it to the extreme and your body is in survival mode. We don't want that. You need to have a balanced approach. So you need a fully encompassing diet. And what I mean by that is to cover all bases. And what I mean by that is to follow the very basic rules of nutrition. Have a high protein diet that's rich in micronutrients with loads of different veg of different colors, broccoli, leafy greens, carrots, peppers, pickles, sauerkraut. Consume good carb sources, so we've got potatoes, rice, oats, sourdough bread. You want a diet that's going to help you fuel your training whilst also staying in a moderate deficit. So to do that and to keep your digestion on point so that you can effectively uptake all of the nutrients that you're consuming, you need to be consuming a fully encompassing diet that helps you to hit all of the boxes and cover all the bases. So to ensure that your diet is on point, stop guessing. Guessing never works. It's not the way forward. Track your calories using an app like MyFitnessPal. Understand your numbers and eat for performance. So that's going to wrap up the video, people. So if you've been stuck trying to shift a little bit of lower belly fat, go through these 5 points. Be honest, see which areas need work, be consistent and be persistent and you will get there. It's all a learning process. It's just about being better than you were the day before. It's about being aware of the problems and making efforts day in and day out to rectify those problems. People who can push through those plateaus when they are stuck, those are the ones that transform. Those are the ones that shift the stubborn fat and actually keep it off. That's going to wrap up for this video, people. So drop me a like, drop me a comment, drop me a sub. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.